have been using outsourcing, you will have, by necessity, had to document those processes in your business. And that gives you a great big leg up to use AI in your business, because the stuff you need to tell the AI is already documented. And AI is really good at reading documents. So one of the things that I see already happening is that the outsourcing industry is saying, hey, instead of putting on another property assistant to help with your property VA to help your property manager, you should keep that person you've got and put 2 AI agents underneath them. And all of a sudden you're going to get 3 to 5 times the productivity out of that person. It's going to augment the people, whether they work in your office or whether they work here in the Philippines.
Right.
Having them work in the Philippines probably has better documented processes than you do in Australia.
Yes.
Because in Australia, sit next to Susie is kind of the way you train the next person. You know, they just by osmosis they get trained, but you can't have it sit next to a computer and the osmosis won't go into the computer. You've got to have it documented. So I think there's, for accounting, for anti-money laundering, for property management VAs, for VAs in virtual assistants in all sorts of fields. I think if you've already got them outsourced, they're going to help you move into AI a great deal, because they, of necessity, have already documented. Even if they haven't told you about it, they will have it documented how they do their job. And that will help you implement AI. And some of the BPOs, the business process organizations here, are now selling agents. I haven't been convinced that I would go down that path yet. But
it becomes the uniqueness in the agent as well, Wayne. And I know from your previous life and decades ago, you went through an apprenticeship program. And Australia is strong with apprenticeship programs. And we have our TAFE universities, and the student is learning a lot in classroom time during the year, but in the other time, they're working with somebody who's a qualified tradesman. So they're getting the firsthand knowledge from a guy who's been there, done that, and he's watching the apprentice who had the book knowledge at school, but is also getting the hands-on knowledge in an actual work environment. So sitting next to Sally might be the way to transfer some of the knowledge, but if you come from McDonald's and you make hamburgers and then you go to work at Hungry Jack's, I'm not sure the processes are the same. In fact, I'm sure they're not.
And real estate right now is going through a big change. The anti-money laundering tranche 2 change is coming into effect, I think, on the 1st of next month.
Yeah. And
that requires real estate agents to do, anyone dealing with property, by the way, including accountants and lawyers and conveyancers and mortgage people and all the rest of it, to do some stuff they've never had to do before. The banks have had to do it, but real estate hasn't, in terms of knowing your customer and so on and so forth. Now, this came in New Zealand back in 2019, yes. And I see Australia going through exactly the same steps, but faster. So what we'll see in the next 6 months, I think, is a lot of real estate agents going, wow, this is harder than I thought it was going to be. And wow, the service that I've bought online to do all this with a piece of software still requires a lot of human intervention. And wow, myself or my senior guy who's now the nominated anti-money laundering manager is really busy just doing crappy stuff with filling out bits of paper and pushing this here and pushing that there.